Hey, Steve Mignani here doing the junkyard crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts. Now, yesterday we saw a very interesting 1979 Ford E250 basic super van with that big 20-inch caboose on the back. Now, that was a stripper on a steer vehicle, all metal inside. This is the other end of the scale. Chateau. This was an $800 upscale option over the standard passenger wagon, and it included two-tone paint, chrome trim up over the top, chrome bumpers, and because this one has the round headlights, we know this is from 75, 6, 7, or 8. This one's a 77, but again, 79, Ford went to square headlights, but again, round headlights tell you it's from the first 4 model years of the 3rd generation forward advanced look van. And again, the punchline on these things is the opening hood, which of course is something Ford pioneered in 1968 and a half on their 2nd gen Econoline. Here's the 302, just a basic small block with a 2-barrel carburetor, and again, automatic transmission seen here. And the beauty really of this arrangement here is that you can get to the brake fluid, the radiator, distributor cap, and even things like the heater motor without digging into the doghouse inside of the van. That was the beauty of Ford's advanced front design right here. Now again, this one here being a Chateau has the chrome grille accents. The base one would have had just gray painted bumpers and very austere, but again, for 800 and change, you got the Chateau. Now this one here is a 150 series, which means it has the 5-lug wheels. It's not a 250 or a 350, which would have the 8-lug 3/4 or 1-ton suspension. But again, this is pretty luxurious inside. Again, this trim coming down the side right here, strictly Chateau stuff, the 2-tone white and green, and white again, strictly Chateau. This was loaded in its day. Inside, there's another look at how far forward the engine is located in the Ford 3rd gen Econoline. That's the 302 with the C6 automatic transmission. This one, we can see that the door panels have wood trim. There's carpeting in this one, no rubber, no bare metal surfaces. This is all plush and almost like a Granada or an LTD. Now, one thing we do see on this one is the sliding door. Now, this is convenient in some ways, but it's a double-edged sword. Now, as we saw yesterday, on the standard double opening doors, you had a 42.5-inch wide opening. When you had the sliding door, it was only 40.3. Why? Well, when you slide this back, it stops right there, eating up this much of the cargo opening. If you were a carpenter or somebody who had to go in and out, this would get old pretty quick. So again, the sliding door, first seen in 1972 on Ford vans, an extra cost option. And again, for a passenger van like this one, not a big deal. But if you were driving and running cargo, this would get old pretty quick. Again, you eat up about 2.5 inches, 3 inches of potential load opening. But inside this one here, it's pretty well thrashed out. But again, we see the complete carpeting and vinyl and wood grain effect going all the way up the sides. And in fact, we see 2 armrests on that wall. That means there would have been 2 rows of seats. There was a possibility for 3 rows in these things. But again, this one is not a super van, does not have the 20-inch extension. But here we have 1979 car prices. And a couple years after, this is 77, but again, we can get an idea of some of the prices here. Chateau, $607, cost the dealer $474. We have the bench seat combinations. We have 6-passenger, 11-passenger, 12, 15, and again, captain's chairs. All these things are very possible. Right here, a seat with a bed built into it. Hey, if the van's rocking, don't come knocking, right? $668 right there. And again, the prices on these things are, there's about a 15 to 20% markup. The dealer has to eat too. But again, today, that kind of stuff is no longer seen because prices are so transparent, thanks to the internet, that you pretty much know what you're getting, and the dealer rarely makes any money. They make their money on service later on, generally. But again, this one here, being a half-ton, the 150 series, rides on the 9-inch rear axle club wagon. That's the term you'll see when it's a passenger van versus a cargo type van, which would be an Econoline. And this does have the pop-out windows, and this one here is a little bit thrashed out, but in the back, there we go. And again, the accoutrements, the luxury continues all the way here to the vinyl and the fake wood, which again is something seen only on the Chateau. And plenty of cargo room on this one here. Again, this is not a super van, does not have the 20-inch extension on the back. But again, compared to yesterday's video where we saw that really austere super van with the long wheelbase, but otherwise gunmetal gray on everything, inside, outside metal. It rang like a volleyball court inside of that thing, had an echo. This thing here is much more plush. Headliner, even has the roof rack on the top, but again, that headliner is something you won't see in a base van. So these are pretty plush from top to bottom. And these things were major cash cows, big profit. Vans and SUVs, in fact, some of the most profitable vehicles that car makers can build. And again, this is body on frame. This is an F-150 chassis, essentially, with a van body on it. So these actually have truck bones, whereas Dodge and Chevrolet and GMC vans at this period were unit construction. So again, that's the story of how the Chateau takes the Econoline to a whole new level, almost Lincoln Continental plushness for another $800. So if you like this video, be sure to come back tomorrow. We'll be back with more junkyard crawling with Bernardson Auto Wrecking.